Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So happy Saturday today. Let's talk about what's going on with Bitcoin. Looking at some interesting charts, interesting things that's going on. That shows Bitcoin doubled last time this happened. So what happened last time exactly? And where can we expect, and more importantly, when can we expect Bitcoin to double? Well, let's talk about all these things and more. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Happy Saturday, like I said. Bitcoin is doing pretty well. 66.8, 66.9. We got as high as 67. What is it? 67.5? Yeah, 67.5 yesterday. And it does look like the major momentum, like the volatility that we see overnight, we have seen that for a couple months, kind of gone away. We're just kind of like hovering and slowly moving upwards now ever since we had this big pump. You know, now it's like, we're just going upwards. It's good. It's good. It seems like all the bullish momentum is back, right? But let's get to a few things. As for inflation, well, consumers are punting big purchases like pools and mattresses because things are really, really expensive. And I'll tell you, I just put in my pool finally for my house, finally complete after a year. And I'll tell you, it was very expensive indeed. And I could see how, yeah, most are putting a big purchase like that on the side. And same thing with mattresses. Mattress is a weird one. I would say like cars, you know, anything, vacations, you know, things that cost a ton, probably being held back at this point. And that's because inflation is still high. We have how many months? 37 consecutive months of 3% inflation. I guess that is a long time. That is a very, very, very long time. If you look at it, that has not happened since what? The last time was in the 80s and 90s, right? So despite the fact that Powell has been doing what he can with elevated rates, I mean, inflation is still high. Everything is still expensive. I don't care what the data says in terms of, oh, inflation's coming down. It's just not the same. You know, 2020 was not that long ago. It seems like it's a long time ago. But I remember 2020 clearly, and you know, it just seems like everything is just much more expensive right now versus just a few years ago. Here's another example of copper. Copper prices skyrocketing due to inflation. I mean, everything's skyrocketing due to inflation, right? And that's why Michael Saylor has it right. If it's not Bitcoin, your money is melting. That's exactly right. So, in case you don't know, Bitcoin is the best hedge against inflation. And why is that? Because it out appreciates everything else out there. That's just quite simply it. Inflation causes assets to go up. And one asset that has been proven to be the fastest mover in the last, 10 years, 14 years, 15 years, is Bitcoin. Nothing out appreciates Bitcoin. That is why it is the best hedge against inflation. And inflation woes and shenanigans, they are not going to go away anytime soon. And there's no central bank and no government out there can really stop it either, because the financial system is just broken. Here's something interesting also about inflation. That $1,200 stimulus check, I believe that was the very first one that was given out in 2020 for the U.S. I think the very first one, we had like 4 of them or something. But the first one, the $1,200, had you purchased Bitcoin with it, it would be 10 times more. It would be $12,000. Now, how many people actually took the stimulus check and bought Bitcoin? Probably very little. But that goes to show you, nothing outperforms Bitcoin. Nothing. Within a matter of a few years, you could have 10x'd your money Had you bought the dip or just simply DCA'd? I mean, come on. Come on. What did gold do a 10x within the last 4 years? No. What did? Probably Nvidia stock. I don't even know if Nvidia stock did a 10x, but there's just very little assets on the planet that can appreciate like this, right? And that is why, of course, the hedge funds, every single hedge fund basically is involved with Bitcoin or will be soon, or they just simply haven't reported yet. But out of the 25 biggest ones, okay, you could see how more than half already said yes, and some are substantial. But others that say not yet, again, it could be that they just didn't report yet. Okay, it's really that. It could just be that they didn't report and they actually hold. I have no doubt, if you're like a top 25 hedge fund, you're a top 100 hedge fund, you would not risk not buying any Bitcoin at this point when all your competitors are. And again, when you look at statistics like this, a lot of hedge funds barely made any money, barely broke even in some of our most bullish years. I still remember in 2021, the last peak, when Bitcoin finally started going down in 2022. Well, 2021 was a fantastic year, not just for Bitcoin, but for markets in general, because that was when the stimulus was going and everything was blowing up. But, after 2021 was over in 2022, there was I think Forbes or someone came out with a list of the top 25 hedge funds and whether their performance outperformed the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. And only one surpassed Bitcoin and S&P 500, and that's because they were riding the GME boom. Everyone else was below, and some were even in the negatives. Like, a lot of times you just figure these hedge funds, they must know something, right? They must be the smartest people on the planet. That's why they're in a hedge fund, and that's why they control hundreds of millions of dollars of assets. And they must be making money hand over fist, right? But, that statistics just showed me that a regular retail investor can outperform a hedge fund. It's just not the same liquidity, obviously, but in terms of percentage gains, you certainly can. And anyone holding Bitcoin for the last 5 years, 10 years, have certainly done so. It's really easy. Just buy Bitcoin. That's all it comes down to, really. All right, so on Friday, yesterday, we had another massive inflow day, 222 million. So, the entire week was good. We had 66 million inflow, 101 million, 303 million, 258 million, 222 million. That's a lot. If you add it all together, that's $1 billion worth of Bitcoin bought by the ETFs, or you could say the hedge funds, or any other institution out there. They're buying Bitcoin ETFs, causing the funds to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, and that's being removed from circulation. Even Grayscale had a massive inflow the last 2 days on Thursday and Friday, 457 and 472. Remember, I said I can't wait for the day for Grayscale to actually turn positive, and it started happening. So now, who is selling Bitcoin by the hundreds of millions? No one. So, I don't know. It's looking good. It's looking bullish. And in case you're wondering, this is what it looks like. Grayscale and BlackRock from week 1 of Bitcoin ETF offering till now. And you can see how, BlackRock is probably going to flip soon. However, since Grayscale stopped selling, maybe if there's more inflows for Grayscale, they can hold off BlackRock for a little bit. But it almost looks like exact mirror of each other, right? Almost to the T. Like, it's a direct inverse relationship between the two, and it makes you wonder, Did they plan this all along? Was this Larry Fink's idea from the very beginning to just take all the Bitcoin he can from Grayscale and take more in for himself? I don't know. Maybe. All right, now let's get to this. When did Bitcoin double last time? And are we going to see it again? Are we going to see Bitcoin double from here? Yes. Just take a look at this. Actually, this is on a 12-hour scale. Last time Bitcoin doubled, actually more than doubled, it was like tripled, was back in October 2023. You guys remember those days? When Bitcoin was hovering in the 20s and everyone was super bearish because Bitcoin would not move. We stayed entire 2023, basically from January when we hit below 20,000, like 16,000, and then all the way up to September of 2023, we basically stayed at that 20,000 range. And a few times we broke up, we broke down, right? So just remember last year when that happened. It was 9 months. 9 months of basically sideways movement. And 9 months of me streaming basically twice a day, every day, telling you guys to stay strong, stay focused, and DCA. And showing you charts of what's going to happen later this year in 2024 and 2025. And how we could hit 100, 150, 200, 250,000, right? Some of you guys stayed and listened. A lot didn't. Said I was just bringing hope, nothing else, right? But look at how far we have come. And the last time, you know, in 2023, when things started moving in September, October, we had a golden cross. We had a golden cross happen. And then we shortly afterwards broke into the 30s, broke into the 40s, broke into the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Okay, so we actually more than doubled. We like tripled since then. And things started moving really quick. Again, for like 9 months, we went sideways. Okay, so, you know, this time around, you know, I know April wasn't good. May so far, okay, it's not that bad. But we had 7 consecutive months of green. So that's why when we started dipping a little bit, told you guys, don't worry about it. It happens every cycle. It does. We have 20%, 25% dips. But once we pick ourselves up, we will start moving again. We will form a new high and we will go much higher. It's just a matter of whether you have patience or not, right? But there are a lot of charts like this that show, yeah, we are about to go higher, to go to the next leg. And I'm looking forward to it. And here's what I used on a thumbnail. But, you know, if you like patterns, if you like fractal patterns, this is what it looks like. The beginning. So in 2023, once we start going up, in 2024, you could see we did have a little dip, right? After first hitting about $50,000, we had a little dip back to 30s. That was the beginning of this year, guys. This was not last year. This is the beginning of this year. In February, we fell back down to the 30s. And then afterwards, guess what happened? We picked ourselves back up, broke the previous high of this year, and then we formed another leg up. So it kind of looks like what's happening right now, right? It looks actually identical to what's happening right now. We hit and broke all-time highs several times. We hit 70,000, 72,000, 73,000. We had a little dip back to the 50s. And now we are getting ready to break back to the 70s, break our all-time high, and head to the next level, which could be way beyond 80,000. I think so. If we break 73,000, 80,000 is nothing. Can we see 6 figures? That's the question. Can we see 6 figures before the end of the year? And if so, would that be scary? Because, you know, before the halving event happened, like back in, you know, probably like March, February, March, I did a couple of interviews and I said, you know what, the way we're moving with ETFs, it would not surprise me if we hit seven figures, not seven figures, six figures for Bitcoin by July. Now, that kind of went away after we started falling in April and May. But you know what? There's no reason why we can't hit six figures, 100K by July. If we pick up for the remainder of this month and we have a fantastic June month, we can definitely be at 100,000 by July, which actually would be a little scary too, because that means Bitcoin is just moving so fast. And if we could hit 100,000 by July, where will Bitcoin be by the end of this year? Right around election time. Can Bitcoin go up as high as 150,000 by the end of this year? I love to see it. I mean, if it happens, imagine where the alts will be, right? I mean, most would have broken through their 2021 high and probably doubled from there. It would be absolute insanity. That's what I'm trying to say. And it could happen. It definitely could happen because a lot of these longer term charts show that this cycle is going to end with Bitcoin being at $200, $250, $300,000. Some are even being more bullish than that. This one is showing, yeah, we're going to be right up there around $200,000, $240,000. So in order for Bitcoin to do that, we must be moving this year, right? We must be hauling. Yeah, I'm not going to finish that, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So it's looking really good, guys. Really good. All right, last few things. I saw this is pretty significant for those of you guys that are Fantom fans. I don't know. I guess this is a new direction because I've always been hearing that Fantom wants to upgrade with their Sonic upgrade. It's going to make it faster and so forth. But you know what? They just announced that they are launching a brand new blockchain called Sonic. It's an L1 and there's an L2 component, which is a bridge to Ethereum. So there was rumors how, they were just going to be a layer 2. No. And they have a new token. So it's going to be a one-to-one redemption or airdrop so that you can actually redeem Fantom for the new Sonic token. Kind of interesting. They just announced it. So I don't know when this is going to happen, but they're putting a significant amount of money into it. And this is going to be their new direction. And I guess the reason being is it's based on new code. It's going to be a lot more efficient, a lot faster. It's supposed to be way faster, way cheaper. Yet it still has liquidity from Ethereum that could be bridged over, right? So this was just announced. Kind of interesting. But of course, everyone is trying to play catch up to Solana. So according to CoinGecko, the fastest blockchain based on real world usage, not lab results, Solana is leading by far. And if you look at Fantom, they're around number 11 at 59 transactions per second. And there's so many more out there that can handle more, but they don't have any transactions because they're empty ghost chains. And that's the unfortunate reality of things. But Solana is definitely leading the way right now, which is no surprise. And they hit $175 today. But then they kind of came down a little bit. But still, they have been moving. They have been climbing this last week. 18% in the last 7 days. Almost back to 200. Not surprised me to see Solana back above 200 in short order. All right. That's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. All right, let me scroll up. Happy Saturday. Hi from Holland, Danielle. Welcome. 10x or bust, according to JC. I'm buying Doge today, Melvin. Hello from Bangkok. The parabolic run is right around the corner. I mean, yeah, I think it would not surprise me, but I would still be excited to see Bitcoin get back to the 70s and break through it and make another leg up. I think the way we're moving now with the ETFs now aligning once again, Grayscale is not dumping. We got hundreds of millions being bought per day now. It's just a matter of time. The supply shock has been happening for a while, but will keep on increasing, I guess. Are you having a pool party? I've been using it a lot. At least the kids have. And I got into the pool yesterday. It's nice. It's nice. It's finally done, kind of. There's still a little bit of a cleaning left, but overall it's good. It's good. Bull run price prediction. Somewhere between 150 to 250,000. Why is WIF down and SOL up? Something's been happening with WIF. Not sure why. Pepe's been gaining strength, but WIF has been really weak recently. Don't know if people are taking profits right now and putting them into Bitcoin. But yeah, I don't know. I still expect WIF to pick itself back up and remain strong. But yeah, recently I kind of noticed that too. Can you shout out crypto news alerts? JV got his channel terminated. We need to get it back. Yeah, that sucks, but I have no idea who crypto news alerts is. Yeah, if you send me an email, if he has an X tweet out or something, I could help amplify, but I don't know who he is. Pat Jr., I've been seeing some videos on how Sol tokenomics, specifically their inflation isn't good. Will this prevent the bull run's growth? Probably not, to be quite honest. Obviously, coins that have very little inflation and a set supply, obviously they are the best. But almost every single other chain that's not Bitcoin does not have a set supply and does have inflation. But in a bull run, there's more people buying than the inflation rate. It always happens and things go up anyways, right? Unless it's such horrible tokenomics where the team is going to dump 90% of their tokens, you know, or something like that. Then, of course, the buying cannot overcome that. But if it's just regular unlocks, normally in a bull run, it doesn't really matter. It happened, and just look at 2021. All the projects that pumped up, most of them had horrible token economics or tokenomics. Mike asks, who wins Denver, Minnesota, Pacers, New York? I really could give two. No, I'm not going to say it. I really don't care about Pacers and Knicks. I really don't. Like, I don't even look at the score. I have no interest in seeing who wins because I don't care about either team. Minnesota, I want to win, but I think Denver's going to pull it out. But I really do want Minnesota to win. I want to see them play like Mavs or OKC in the finals. That would actually be an interesting change because in the NBA, usually all the super teams always makes it, and you can kind of predict who wins every single year. But this year is quite interesting. You know, you have teams that shouldn't be this far along in the playoffs, and they are, and that makes actually things really interesting. Not like before. Do you think funds will buy MicroStrategy instead of ETFs to avoid fees? Well, the answer is you can have both, you know. But these guys have already bought Bitcoin ETFs. But that doesn't mean these guys don't have MicroStrategy either. You can have both. IO says, I heard you said you sold your BDC. Where did you hear that? I think you're just making stuff up. No, I have not. Royal, you go get a timeout for that. About blockchain speed, why is Cardano not on the list and ICP missing too? Because it's probably so slow it doesn't even register. I don't know. I don't know, man. Even if it was on there, it's not toward the top. Cardano is dirt slow. I don't know about ICP, but it's probably a ghost chain, so it doesn't register anyways. I need a new idea for Saturdays. You know, like Sundays, I do my Sunday walk, which I enjoy because, you know, I actually get to go out and do a walk. I want to change it out for Saturday. I don't know how, though. You know, I think my Monday through Fridays are pretty set, and I'm okay with that. But Saturday, you know, maybe do something different. Maybe go drive around or something. Do a car video or something instead. Is optimism a good long-term play? Better options? A lot of the L2s are just really weak right now. Optimism, Arbitrum, they just Manta, Metis, Scale, all these L2s, they're not really moving right now. So I don't know. I mean, they could definitely pick up. They could definitely pick up. Soul Chat. I have no opinions on Soul Chat. A chat program that's on Soul, like a Telegram competitor. I don't know. 51 million. Soul Chat, Solana, communication protocol. Looks more like a Discord. Kind of like a Discord of Solana. Why do you need a coin? The answer is you don't, but they want to make some money. Is it worth $51 million? Probably not. But it's on Sol, so probably a reason why. It came out in February. What's happening or not happening to Poly? There's not a whole lot of things happening. Michael says, do a video from your pool. I was thinking about that. I don't know if that's sustainable long term. Or maybe I just go for a Saturday drive or something. Yeah. I don't know. Or maybe I just don't change it up. But sometimes it's tough. It's tough to get up and do the show on Saturday, especially when you had a wild Friday night. Not that I have wild Friday nights, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I have no idea who Crypto News Alerts is. But I said, yeah, if you guys send me his X, email it to me, I'll help amplify the message. Because that, generally speaking, like you had caused a lot of commotion on X. That's how people get their accounts back. I know how much that sucks, so. But I don't know who that guy is. I've never heard of the channel. How do you feel about all the FUD going around Tether? What FUD? It seems like all of it has been dissipated. Like, what new FUD? Boss Squeak, do you think Sui or Optimism is better play long term? I think Sui. Optimism is kind of like lost in the shuffle with all the other ones. I think Sui is a new competitor, new L1, so and they have done really well too. So I think Sui maybe, for me, I think they could be a better play. ETH ETF will be rejected and will pump Bitcoin? No. If anything, if ETH ETF rejection causes the ETH market to go down, it may actually bring down the entire market. But, I don't think anyone thinks that it's going to be approved. SEC will deny until they have no choice. If it wasn't for the Grayscale lawsuit, Gary would have still denied the ETFs. Or maybe not. Maybe not, because Larry wants all the Bitcoin. He knew that the ETF the halving was coming. So maybe not. Maybe it was just all a ploy to delay it until last minute right before the halving event. But yeah, in terms of Ethereum, I don't think it's going to get an ETF approval anytime soon. It's probably going to be delayed until next year. K-Jam, stop adding me, man. That's a big turnoff. Big pet peeve. I've been sending you live chats wanting to know what you think of AMP, but never got a response. I think it's garbage. Is that the response you want? It's garbage. It's trash. It's big trash. I got off the AMP bandwagon years ago because they basically disappeared. All the retailers that they signed up have gone into bankruptcy, and now not even Gemini. Gemini was a big supporter of that, but I don't think Gemini even talks about them anymore. And they have rebranded into something else. Blair, doesn't the ETH ETF getting denied basically put the nail in the coffin? No. Because those fund managers will just keep reapplying. Same deal with Bitcoin ETF. They had to reapply many times. Cyber Beast Truck is going to save Cybertruck sales. No, it's not. I haven't seen any positive Cybertruck videos in probably forever. Every single one is so negative, and every single comment is negative. I can't see how Tesla saves this one. There's nothing positive to say about the Cybertruck other than it looks like no other car on the road. But besides that, every single thing that Elon did with the Cybertruck has been a head scratcher and doesn't meet expectations, and just gets laughed at this point. It's like it's really unfortunate. Like I would have preferred, I would have bought it, but it's just so many problems. And they send me a text every day to schedule. They want me to finish my payment stuff, and then they said schedule it. And now their recent text just said, screw that, just go schedule it. Like they're really desperate for me to pick it up. All right. All right, guys. Go enjoy your Saturday. Bitcoin is still doing very well. We have a lot of indications it's going to make a next leg and double. So stay strong, my friends. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys on Monday, but Sunday walk video tomorrow. There will be another chart storm on CRU Plus with Noah. That will be live, so make sure you tune into that one. And that's it. Brilliant beam, maybe. Unless it's bad weather, then I can't do it. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.